Hello there. So, I recorded part 3 for this, but for some reason the footage did not save, so I couldn't use it. So here I am, reshooting part 3 of my epic reading saga of the Kendlewood Curse with the final battle after dark. Ooh. Now, I can't remember what happened since I last read it, because I've had a lot on and my memory is terrible, so I have forgotten what happened in part 3. So my reactions should be hopefully still solid, because I'm excited to reread this. It's not as long as the other two parts. This video shouldn't be that long. Shouldn't be any more than 40 minutes. Also, I'd like to thank someone who commented on one of my other videos saying that I sickened him deeply and that it was the worst video ever, and I'm really happy that we're receiving so much constructive feedback. Right, so prologue, the story finale. So this is like the part where I summarize what happened in the last book. I was forced into war to defeat the devil risers and won. I then fought against a cruel thug who I've not seen the last of yet. I am journeying to Demon Island where my cursed father awaits. Smell my blood once and he'll come to me. Once he gets me, I'm dead. I knew that if I won the fight I'd have to kill my own father. And so the battle commences. I don't know how the main character knows that he's going to have to kill his dad. He's just assuming, because the prophecy says he's going to have to kill his dad. He has to do it. I walked slowly across a mound of grass, breathing in the smell of damp rock to my lungs. Also, this is chapter 1 called The Witch Eater. The castle of the demon is ahead, about 10 miles ahead. I only have bread and cheese for food, and I can only nibble so as not to run out of snacks. I heard a slow crunch of teeth and a drip of blood hitting the debris. I see the sound comes from an old mill, so I creaked the door open. I saw a skinny monster, bald and blood-caked around the sharp jaws. In its arms lay a witch. I recognized it, because a witch lets off an unnatural smell, not so strong to monsters. How he learnt this information? It doesn't matter. Come on now. The beast dug into the flesh, splitting it open hungrily, digging out the lungs and stuffing them into its jaw. I should put a content warning here. This is dark. It turned towards me. It was blind but had a huge nose that must have been sensitive except to witch aroma. What? I recognized it, because a witch lets off an unnatural smell, not so strong to monsters. Okay, he dropped the carcass and limped towards me. What are you? I managed to croak, terrified. I am the Witch Eater. The Witch Eater took in a deep breath. But a tasty boy will do just fine. The Witch Eater drooled and slowly approached me. I kicked it, and it sprawled on the floor, squealing in pain, much like every other character in this trilogy. Incredibly weak. I raced out of the mill, heading for a dark wood. It'll not find me here, I thought, catching my breath. To my horror, I saw the Witch Eater come into the forest, sniffing wildly. I tugged a branch from the tree behind me. The sound attracted the beast. It roared in delight and sprinted towards me. I whacked its head and it bit the stick in two. I ran, my feet panning across the floor, the blind animal following the sound, gaining wildly, opening its mouth, missing and skidding into a tree. I kept running, keeping away as much as possible from the Witch Eater. Although it was blind, it had superior hearing and smell. I'd battered it and ran so much my feet began to ache. I rested against a tree and caught my breath. I could hear the beastly Witch Eater clambering up the hill. I saw that it was damaged, badly. I walked slowly and tried not to make too much noise. I fell into a nestle bush. I screeched, my denim jeans caught on a thorn. The Witch Eater, damaged at the legs, crawled at me. Okay, it's getting intense. Chapter 2, Awakening in a Dungeon. I closed my eyes, gripped my teeth, and cursed the nettle bush to an inch of its old roots. I felt no bite, no noise of it moving. I opened my eyes and I was in an old carriage. Next to me was the Witch Eater with his head lopped off. I saw a man with a pirate hat and a tiny beard. Let me guess, this guy will die quite quickly. Who are you, and why am I in a prison carriage? I was shocked at my voice, croaky and wizened. You need a lift to the demon castle. Name's Radon Glide. I'll help you in the war. War? War, yes. A battle is being brought against you to kill you and slaughter the people of Earth. All at the orders of the demon Retowind. Is I made up word again. Radahn smiled, and the carriage halted 3 miles from Demon Castle. Radahn opened the door, and we left the carriage and walked up Green Hill. An army of evil soldiers guarded the door. The boss chained us up, knocked us out, and dragged us into the castle. In that order? So we chains you up, then knocks you out. Okay, that's fine. An hour later, we awakened in the dungeon. The door locked and bolted, and Radahn chained to a wall, and the same to me. We were trapped. I rummaged in my pockets for a knife to cut through the weak old chain. Drat, nothing. What will happen to us? I asked a man guarding the gate. You will be eat by the rat gong as a sacrifice to the great demon. Radahn looked puzzled, so I explained to him about my adventures. I'm sure I never met you before. How do you know who I am? Radahn sighed and smiled. I'm your brother. I stared, shocked at Radahn's truth-telling eyes. A bell rung, echoing throughout the chamber. The gate opened, light blazed in, and the man put a plate with stale bread on it. Eat. You'll need fattening up if the beast is to eat your meat. As we reluctantly chewed the stale bread, we heard a deafening roar and the crowd of evil beings gathering to watch ourselves devoured by it. That's very strangely worded. Okay. The rat gong's breath smelt of foul sick that had gone off. Foul sick that had gone off. I mean, does sick have a sell-by date? Hang on.
Here's what I found.
No. It doesn't. The rat gong's breath smelt of foul sick that had gone off. We could even smell it in the cell. The guard returned and said, It's time. Chapter 3, The Rat Gong. We were dragged up onto the torture grounds and fastened to a post. Radahn was tied with ropes, but I was tied with chains. The rat gong was 8-legged with 2 red eyes, its face caked in oozing blood, dripping off its chin. I noticed its eyes filled with sadness crossed with rage. It gawked furiously, teeth bared, and launched itself at me. Halt! Roared a stranger in a hooded monk's clothing. He threw back his hood. It was the thug! He was wet, water still stinging his evil, staring eyes. He eyed me and took a gun from his sleeve, killed the rat gong and smiled at it, tormented and tired, the bullet piercing its heart like a knife. It dropped down dead. The thug snapped his fingers and monsters came into the rooms, all of different shapes and sizes. Werewolves, witch-eaters, mini-satans, fiend and doom laugh, the soldiers, ghosts of villains I destroyed on Bill Moore, all gathering at Demon Castle to trap me. The thug stepped forward. I am After Dark. You are my prize for killing a rat gong, the corpse of Demon Dad. After Dark grinned happily and continued. I have raised an army of creatures, and now I have you, the one person everyone is after. You are destined to fight your father and go to war beforehand, and one of you, your dad, will die in your battle, but first you must go to war, or else the creatures will tear your brother and yourself apart. The army of beasts giggled sadistically. After Dark loosened the chains on me and Radahn and threw us into the arms of a wolf. Take them to the blood grounds. Gives these 2 slobs time to stretch their legs. The wolf walked us up to the blood grounds. After Dark stepped between me and Radahn and the blood-wanting monsters. Here are the rules. Only slight injuries to Samson. Radahn is welcome to your feast. Go ahead and tuck into him. After Dark took a gun and held it to the air. After 5 shots, war commences. After Dark coiled his finger around the trigger. Bang! The enemy grumbled and grinned. Bang! I sighed and squinted. Bang! Radahn's eyes went scared. Bang! The enemy roared with glee. Bang! It all ends as battle begins. The 2 armies clashed, me and Radahn versus the monsters. We fought for hours. Many were killed, many monsters slaughtered, and me and Radahn with only a few cuts to our body. A ghost took me by the throat. I swiftly stabbed the ghost in the neck. He fell to the ground and I left him to the light. Radahn was in trouble, surrounded by several monsters. He filled his gun with powder, aimed at each enemy, and fired. He walked from the smoke, surrounded by all the enemies we'd killed. I patted him on the back, and to my horror, After Dark blasted Radahn with a gun. Oh no! Radahn clutched his chest, fell to his knees, and said, You will betray him. Radahn died. After Dark laughed nastily and threw his gun to the ground. I can see your future, he snarled, staring into my eyes and grinning. Kim wasn't lying. The name sent a chill down my spine. You will love him, you will betray him, and finally you will die for him, and yet it is all for nothing. Your dad hates you, and you will hate him. After Dark slapped me hard on the back, making me choke for some reason, I don't know. He leaned to my ear and whispered, "Why so serious?" Gee, I wonder what I'm referencing there. So, After Dark is just a Joker from The Dark Knight now. This book is going through some motions, I'm telling you. I pushed him off me, lifted the sword off the ground, and chopped off After Dark's head. Because I have something worth living for. Like I said, none of these characters survive longer than a page. Like we got Radahn's dead, and now After Dark's dead, and everyone's dead. With that I walked up to Demon Castle. I saw a light in the trees. A lady assassin with a long sword rushed towards me. I'd read about her. A once beautiful lady, peaceful and well-rounded, turned assassin because of being forced into it by After Dark. That's a lot of exposition. Eventually she was happy with it, slicing, cutting and cascading her way through life. Her name was Flame McBlaze. Okay. She roared, dreadlocks of blood-caked hair rushing with the wind as she speeded after me. I ran as fast as I ever would and realized I was running away from Demon Castle, but I was meant to be running towards it. I turned swiftly, pushed Flame to the ground, and raced back up to Blood Grounds towards Demon Castle. I could hear Flame's feet pounding behind me. I began to speed, rushing through the drawbridge, and stopped. Splash! Flame had fallen into the moat. I grinned to myself and walked further into the castle. Oh my god, let me try that again. I grinned to myself and walked further into the castle. I heard something coming down the stairs. As it walked, I thought that the person must be the demon Retowind. Chapter 5, The Battle of Demon Castle. I was wrong. It was the wolf butler at Demon Castle. As it eyed the kitchen going in to eat, I looked around the castle. Shield leant against the walls, which were made of rocks and grey cement. Suddenly I saw the wolf look at me and roared. He took a bell, ringing it wildly. A monstrous roar bellowed from the top of the stairs. My dad, turned demon, was coming. Flames crackled from his skin, cracks bleeded in his body. His feet were masked up and bloody, and he had cockroaches scuttling from his empty eye sockets. He was blind. This meant that I had a chance to destroy him. I clutched my blood-caked sword that I killed After Dark with and lunged at my father. Yeah, I mean, you see your dad. And he's this character is eager to kill his dad. And I don't understand why. I mean, he's an evil demon. He's turned into a demon. But why is he so like, haha, I run at you with a sword? No, it's your papa. You're going to have some remorse. Otherwise, this character is a psychopath. It's not very good. To my shock, he clutched the blade and threw it to the wolf, who broke it in two. I shot him with a gun pistol, but the bullets were eaten by the cockroaches, who fell to the floor dead. The demon was immortal. Suddenly I realized something, a prophecy made by Kim, Radahn, in After Dark. You'll love him. I love my dad. You will betray him. I tried to kill him, and finally you will die for him. I had to destroy myself to release the demon from my father because of the DNA. I don't know what that means. Kendlewood, is that you? The demon talked. To Dad, I croaked, tears tearing my eyes to pieces. Come to me, Kendlewood. Give me your pity. I want your shame. The demon reached for me with a rotted hand. I need your pity. Give it to me. The demon burned as he ordered me to him. Give me your pity and I'll give you sleep. I must feed on pity. Demons feed on it. I will die if not you give me your sadness. My father looked so pitiful. I was about to grasp his hand when he grasped it for me. I screamed in pain, releasing the grip. My hand was burned and black, my skin smouldering and quivering. In horror, I punched my father in the face. The flames leaped to my body and into my heart. I dropped to my knees. I stared up at him and noticed he was slowly morphing into a human once more. You will love me. You'll betray me. Dad let me fall. And now, you have died for me. Chapter 6. The final chapter. Crippled and speechless, I grimaced. My heart in my throat, my insides starting to crease and smoulder. Writhing for life, I stare up at the figure. My father. He holds out a bottle of strange green liquid. Drink, he rasped. Pressing the tube in between my dry lips, I swallowed the mixture. It was so terrible I felt like spitting it right back out again. Clenching my fists, I stared at the label on the tube. Antidote. I grinned. My father had saved my life. Finding balance, I stood on the soles of my shoes and gripped Dad in a bear hug. So what happens next? And that's it. Okay.